Connecting with Special Needs Kids by me, Elliott, Ben, and Andrew.
Starting our project. We started our project by making note cards and then grouping ourselves by interest. We found that us three wanted to research and help kids with special needs. We chose this topic because we all knew someone with a condition of the brain, and that we wanted to help and understand them better. Also, we believe that the voices of special needs students are very drowned in our society.
Preparing. Every day in class, every Thursday, because that's when we had our discovery class, we logged our research and progress every day in class. We researched conditions like autism and Down syndrome because we wanted to learn more about them so we would be able to understand and communicate with them. Autism affects social learning and the ability to really understand and comprehend what is happening around you. And Down syndrome is having a second 21st chromosome. It affects the ability to think and understand.
And further preparing. As we got closer to the deadline, we planned a specific day that we could all go to the school. And then after that, we got the teachers to approve of it so that we knew that for sure we'd be able to do our project. And then we did our own research on our own, and so that we could be extra prepared to talk and communicate with the children at the school.
Taking action. On the day of the trip, we all met at my house due to the fact that my mom was bringing us to the school where she worked. They got to my house around 6:45, and then left 5 minutes later. We had to arrive at the school around 7 in the morning, but the school started at 8 a.m. Many of the kids ate breakfast at school. We greeted the kids as they walked into the school, going to breakfast. We then waited in a room for the kids to show up to the classroom.
Another part of taking action. At first, the children came into the classroom for morning work. We helped in a first grade classroom at first, and we helped them with their morning work and reading on the iPads or learning how to spell on the iPads. It is much different from our school in many different ways. First, we didn't ever use iPads in our school when we were in first grade, and also the racial balance of it. 95% of this school was African American, whereas this school is much greater in the white population. Also, the special ed kids were combined in the same class and then pulled into separate classes as the day progressed.
And then again, further taking action. After we left the first grade classroom, we went to Andrew's mom's room and helped children with auditory disabilities, like people that had trouble like pronouncing words and stuff like that. And many of those children had autism or some sort of disability on the autism spectrum. And when they came into the room, they came in like twos or just by themselves, so we taught in small groups. And whenever they got a question right on this game that we played that helped them learn auditory things, we rewarded them with candy because young children need immediate rewards, and we used many different tools to help communicate and understand them.
Okay. Now,
Core word poster. This is a core word poster. It has drawings and symbols that correspond to the word so that the teacher can better communicate with the children.
Now in the classroom. Here you can see us in this first grade classroom. Kids wear navy blue on top and khakis on the bottom, as you can see. You can see the iPads on the table where we were helping them learn to spell, and then on this one and this one they were reading. And then it was, like I said, much different because, well, the classrooms were a lot bigger than we were used to, and they used iPads. And then here, this kid right here, he was actually had autism and was on the autism spectrum. And so at one point in the day, we never saw him again after this, but one point in the day, he would leave and go with a special teacher to help him comprehend.
And then this is another tool that we used, and it's called audio matching. And we use this app to help match sound to an animal that corresponds. Then the child would either pick I want, I hear, or it's to determine the answer. And then if they pick the right animal, you would give them a little candy because, again, they need immediate rewards.
Preschool. In this classroom, there were around 7 to 8 kids. After our lunch break, we went to the special needs preschool classroom where they were eating lunch and learning how to cut and glue paper and complete small puzzles. We then had reading time. We read with the kids and they chose a book that they wanted to read. Also, we read one with them. They understood most of it and asked questions by pointing to the things they didn't understand.
The creative room. There were around 10 kids in this class, all with a special needs condition. They played with Legos and drew all sorts of pictures and fun things like that. All the kids were very happy and excited to see us. We were not there for long due to the school hours were ending.
And then comparing and contrasting differences between our school and their school. Their school was very different compared to ours because, one, many children lived in poverty. For example, a lot of kids got discounts on their food there because they didn't really have the money to buy it. And a lot of children didn't show up to school because when you're that deep in poverty, survival is a genuine task, and a lot of families thought that it's more important to just survive than to go to school. So there was this one little girl that didn't go to school for 56 days, and that was just half of the year.
Yep. And almost all of these kids ate breakfast at the school because they got that discount and they weren't able to afford enough to feed them. So during the summer they also usually go to the school to get food or the food shelf.
Comparing and contrasting again. The next difference, and the one we want to learn about, was the difference between the education of special ed kids and regular education kids. The first difference was that the regular education kids could easily explain and express their answer, and it was so much more different for special ed kids. They couldn't understand they couldn't express what they needed to say. This is also applied to the children expressing their emotions. The next big difference is how they were taught. In the regular education class, they were always learning new things for example, Thomas Edison. But the special education kids, it's hard to do long periods for working, so how they learn is work on some of their academic weaknesses for short increments, and then play games for short increments going on and off work.
Another comparing and contrasting. The last difference was between their learning for the regular education and special education. They had a lot easier time talking to one another and really making friends and just knowing how to interact and how to give your emotions so that someone would understand how you're feeling. Where people or the kids with autism and Down syndrome really had trouble with that. They would either start jumping on the floor, rolling, or something because they weren't able to express that through words. So they would start punching or hitting and really trying to get that out, but their brains just couldn't process what they were trying to say.
And then our reflection. In conclusion, in this project, we have learned many differences between regular education and special education. Also, we've gotten to connect and play with many special ed children. We've become great communicators and risk takers for going to a different school and communicating with special needs kids. And then this is our bibliography, and that's our project.
Thank you.
Thank you.